In this video, I want to introduce you to Scott. Scott is an AI agent that creates email sequences for my clients. So let's jump into this use case and I'll show you exactly what Scott can do. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tara. Over the last number of years, I've helped hundreds of companies set up more efficient workflows and learn how to use AI and to leverage it for their company. So that way they can just work smarter. If you need any assistance with any automation or workflows or AI, feel free to get in touch. My contact information is in the description below. And now let's meet Scott. As I mentioned, Scott is an email sequencer. So let's jump into that and I'll explain exactly what he can do. My client is using Monday as their CRM. That's the basis where they keep track of their leads. But essentially, they're following up with new cold leads that they've just received. So they want to make the email be really, really personal, and they have a specific tone and guidelines that they always want to follow. So the first thing that we did is that we built in a system into Scott that actually checks the web for information about this person. It could be a potential conference that they're going to, or maybe an update about the company. And it obviously also looks at their title. So let's just say that the person we're reaching out to, let's just call him Jake, and he's the CFO. So Scott knows to make sure that we're only using important information to Jake, who would be the CFO, as opposed to someone else in a different role. So it takes information from the web, pulls it together, and would write an email. Now, not only does it take this information, but it also uses different prompts. My client wants to be able to test different prompts to see which ones get a higher open rate and which ones perform better. So we had to build a system that achieved both of their goals. My client is actually working in the Monday CRM. So essentially what we did is that we took Monday's native tools and we built Scott on top of Monday's tools. So the information is flowing into Monday, and then Scott does his search and pulls from the prompt and creates all of the emails. And then we're using a sequencing tool that Monday has to automatically create drafts of these emails. My client can then see these draft emails and then send them out when they want. So let's jump in and I'll show you how it works. As you can see on this screen, I've been added to my client's leads board as a potential lead, but there's no information like we spoke about for these emails. That's because we didn't trigger anything. The way that we trigger it is by changing the owner. So if I change the owner, that's going to automatically fill in most of these columns. These columns is where we have the draft of the email. Now, before we do that, let's remember the prompt pulls information from the web and it also follows a specific prompt. We have another board within Monday that's called a config board, and essentially that has the details of this prompt. So it's basically Scott is referencing that board, goes to that board, pulls the prompt, and then writes the emails. Let me show you how this works. I'm just going to choose a company name as an owner. I'm going to just choose an owner here, and you're going to see that the information is going to start to be filled in. Here you can see that it changed to ready for drafting. And in a minute, you're going to see all of these columns are automatically going to be pulled in. Again, pulling information from the web and then pulling the prompts. So right now it's drafting. So we do have to give it a minute to draft. Here you can see that the information was automatically added, and this is what's going to be in the email. So here's the sequence agent for email number 1. Here's for email body number 2. All of the text is here, but they don't even need to look at this. Essentially what happens, this automatically is created as drafts in their emails. So that way they can send it out once they decide that it works. Now that system for creating that is used Monday sequences. I don't want to go into the details about how Monday sequence works because that's not the point of this video. But the point is that we have Scott, an AI agent who essentially has a lead and creates these email sequences based on information on the web about a client, pulls the prompt and then creates this whole entire flow. That way, my client can automatically reach out to these potential clients with really good emails, which will then just lead to a stronger close rate. If you think having someone like Scott on your team could be helpful, feel free to get in touch and we can help customize Scott so that way he works for your different CRM needs.